I have news. Somalians in Minnesota are pretending to have autism to steal your taxpayer dollars. In 2023, displaced Somalians sent back $1.7 billion to their Somali government.
The Biden-era Justice Department called it the largest COVID fraud scheme in the country. And this was pocketing COVID-era welfare funds, more than $1 billion in taxpayer money that was stolen.
Boy, since 2020, y'all done took $1 billion.
People who spent years calling America racist are now crying online because they're being sent back to the same country they swore was better than here. Y'all like the video right here. Follow for more.
Somalis in Minnesota, Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar people have been caught stealing billions of dollars.
I don't need my taxpayer dollars being sent to Somalia, thanks.
So I'm a handyman, and I worked on a lot of Section 8 housing to make sure they're up to standard. And one thing I've noticed when I go see Section 8 houses, one, it's usually a Somali family. And what I mean, usually it's 9 times out of 10. And I always wondered how someone on Section 8 can afford multiple new cars. I just couldn't put it together. So now finding out about this fraud stuff makes so much sense.
$1 billion fraud scheme in Somalian-dominated communities is being investigated and looked into by the FBI. And also, Governor Tim Walz and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar are being looked to for answers into helping solve this fraud scheme. You guys, it is a big mess in Minnesota right now, and I'm hearing that Minnesota is just the tip of the iceberg. There are more Democratic-led states that are doing this, and they said this thing could easily go from $1 billion to $8 billion when it's all said and done and over with. You guys, this is a complete mess. Minnesota! Let's take a look at this video. Hey, welcome back, you guys. How you guys doing out there? Welcome back to the Mikey Mike Show, News and Entertainment. It's me, Michael B. Wiley. Showstoppers, how you guys doing? You guys know I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And it's always a good thing to be in front of the camera doing another video for you guys. Now let's get into this video. You guys, what is going on in Minnesota? What is exactly happening in Minnesota under the watch of Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar, especially in Somalian-dominated communities? They are saying that over $1 billion in fraud money has been basically detected, and they want to get to the bottom of this scheme that's going on. And that this scheme is not just connected and affiliated with Somalians in Minnesota, but it can lead to other fraud schemes that is quite much more money. And you guys, they saying this could easily end up an $8 billion investigation case when it's all said and done. How do you steal $1 billion to $8 billion in fraud money and it does not get looked at not one time? Well, one question could be, if they're saying that more of this is happening in Democratic-led cities and states, I'm assuming that when this stuff started going back down in about 3 years ago, when they was discovering that Somalians were frauding all over the place, I think it was under the Biden administration, if I'm not mistaken. Not pointing no fingers to anybody, you guys, just stating some facts. And when Ilhan Omar said that it's an FBI problem, maybe you're correct. Maybe you're just right. Because it wasn't until this FBI administration got in office that things start to change. And like I said, this been dated back 3 years ago that they were getting down like this. This ain't nothing brand new. This ain't nothing coming to the site just now. People been talking about this 2-3 years ago about how they were getting down in Minnesota. But why were people being quiet, and that's what the FBI want. They want answers on why this was not looked into, why nobody talked about it. Why did y'all let this go on so long without reporting it, especially as you being the governor, Tim Walz, especially as you being the Congresswoman, Ilhan Omar? Why did so many Somalians from that community, particularly in Minnesota, get away with these schemes, this crime, this $1 billion fraud, saying that they're feeding our America or feeding something? It's something about feeding kids, feeding America, you guys, it's crazy. I don't think that anybody can eat $1 billion worth of food, or however they took it. Even if they can't eat $1 billion worth of food, however they laundered this money and did this big old scheme, I don't think that anybody that was just a regular Joe Schmo came up with this and did not have help from political sides or from anybody that's in power. Allegedly. I believe that they were helped. You just don't commit crimes for millions and millions of dollars and you're not helped. This is $1 billion, and they talking about when it's over with, it could be well up to $8 billion fraud scheme. You don't just get by like that just by going under the radar for 3 years. You have to have help. You have to have people in power helping you disperse that money in places that they know will probably be the last place to look at far as when authorities come in and do an investigation. It's completely sickening, unenriching, and if this is true, Ilhan Omar said it best. It's the FBI fault. Yes, it is the FBI fault. But this was 3 years ago when they started mentioning things about this fraud. So you saying that the Biden administration, the people that were in charge then under his watch, is the reason why this went on so long? Just tell us more. Keep talking. We would like to know more about this $1 billion fraud scheme that is going on right now in Minnesota, and why so many Somalians are receiving the boatloads of the money. People don't want to talk about things until the heat is on them and when they no longer can run. I assume that she will be tap dancing. I assume that she will be saying what went on. I assume she will give up what she know, if she know anything. I believe she knows a lot. I believe she know more than what she portrays she knows. I'm not no fool, and also I believe Tim Walz know a lot. More than what you and I think he may know. He's the governor of Minneapolis. Okay? You don't become the governor and not know things that are going on, especially federal committed crimes. Stealing from taxpayers. And the FBI said they want to get to the bottom of it, and they want to get to the bottom of it real soon. You guys, that's all I got to say. We're going to take a look at this video and see what we can determine for ourselves, all right? Let's take a look at this video.
New tonight, we are tracking stolen tax dollars. We've learned the scope of government fraud investigations in Minnesota could exceed $1 billion. And that staggering number comes from acting U.S. Attorney for Minnesota, Joe Thompson. Jay Cole's talked with Thompson, joins us live from the state capitol with a story you are seeing first on 5.
Kevin, lawmakers here at the Capitol spent the last session wrestling with the expanding fraud issue. And today, in a candid interview, the acting U.S. Attorney for Minnesota, Joe Thompson, lays out why he thinks the scope of government fraud will reach historic levels.
Feeding Our Future, New Way Alliance, autism centers, and now the federal housing stabilization investigation. All of them significant government fraud cases, some still under investigation, others already prosecuted.
I see $500 million in prosecutions just from your office alone. Is that accurate?
I think it is. Yeah, absolutely.
And when his prosecutors finish their investigations, Acting U.S. Attorney for Minnesota, Joe Thompson, tells me he expects the scope of fraudulent use of taxpayers' money will exceed $1 billion. To me, that's astounding. How do you describe that?
It's an extraordinary problem and the fraud that's pervasive in this state.
In Minnesota, 1 out of 5 autism centers are currently under investigation. Medicaid claims from 450 providers totaled $220 million last year. And in a current Housing Stabilization Services investigation, the billing reached over $100 million. Thompson says the vast majority of those claims are fraudulent. What, in your opinion, will it take to stop it and get a handle on it?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, that's the question, right? I think the growing awareness of the problem, I think people opening their eyes to the reality of it, and we can't always assume that things are on the up and up, and we have to make sure we're scrutinizing things that look suspicious.
So there you have it. You have it. I always say it. Find what they say, scratch a lie, find a thief. There you have it. I always think that a person is guilty when they start pointing the blame game. Okay? I always think that a person is especially guilty when they start pointing the blame game on authorities. All right? Like Ilhan Omar did. I do believe, like I've said before, they know more than what you and I think they know, and they portray to act like they know nothing. This is $1 billion. $1 billion just don't go missing. $1 billion just don't go under the radar without no type of trigger warning, no type of red flag. $1 billion do not just get misplaced. It just don't. And people get mad at the truth. People want to deem people all types of wrong. And I'm just telling you guys, look at your leaders. Look at your political leaders. As a governor who does not know that $1 billion is being stolen from American people in a fraud, would you want that to be your governor again? Would you want to vote for somebody that $1 billion of your taxpayers' money can be stolen under their watch and you cannot ever have that money reclaimed back? Would you want a governor or a congresswoman in charge of you like that? Because if you do, let me tell you right now, you have it. You have it right in front of you. We want to say who the bad guys are, who this, who that. A bad guy in my book is when death happens, you can't be a decent person. I can't be on the same board with you. There's a special place in hell for people who don't repent. You better believe it. And to steal $1 billion from your own citizens to give to a certain community that's dominating, particularly the Somali community, is a slap in the face to American people who've been here their whole life, working their whole life to get things their whole life done. And for what? For their tax dollars to be stolen to support people that are pretty much lazy? Or don't want to do nothing or feel like they should have a good time in life and relax in life? You guys, say what you want to say, talk how you want to talk, feel how you want to feel about me. For one, I'm covered. For two, I don't care. I call a spade a spade. I say right is right, wrong is wrong. And if these two, Governor Tim Walz and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, know about this and is covering it up from its people, I hope they get investigated to the highest extent and then charged. And you guys, y'all know that this is just not happening in Minnesota. Yeah. This also is happening other places. So you guys tell me, do you want somebody in office that's going to allow somebody to steal your tax dollar, or that's going to not see $1 billion of tax dollars being misused and misplaced with no type of red flag, no something? Just look over it. This is $1 billion. This is not $100. This is not $1,000. This is $1 billion. Think about it. These are your leaders that's in Minnesota right now. They said they're protecting your tax dollar, that your tax dollar is going where your tax dollar needs to go, and yet y'all are constantly being stole from and having to pick up the pieces and re-glue the puzzle back together. Stop getting slapped in the face. Stop laying down for anything and stand up for something. Your money been stole. If somebody stole from you, if somebody stole $100 out your house and you knew who it was, you'll stand up to them. So I think the people of Minnesota need to hold not only the governor and congresswoman accountable, but it's other political elected official leaders. Because what they're telling you is vote me in so I can steal more from you. Your tax dollar don't matter. You don't need that. These people from different countries need it more than you do. Even though you're going to spend the next 10 to 15, maybe 20 years repaying a price for something that was stolen from you. You can't make this stuff up, and you still have people out there that are going to stand up on the line and fight for this kind of rhetoric. But that's your elected officials, they don't have the best interest for you. And as you can see, as this fraud case is going on in Minnesota right now as we speak, it's all around necessary and true. But that's all I got to say on it. Keep getting played in your face for all I care. I know if it's me, I'm not voting for people to play in my face or steal from me. You get one time to do that.